Welcome to the Babies in Business Podcast. Join your hosts, Rachel and Avram Gonzales, real-life parents and business partners. Each week on Babies in Business, Rachel and Avram create a space for entrepreneurial parents to find their own way. They'll dive into insights on topics like leadership, efficiency, self-awareness, budgeting, and human psychology as they nurture their family and build their business. Here's your hosts, Avram and Rachel.
The story as old as civilization itself. Mom's point of view versus dad's point of view. We were talking about fun things that we could just riff on for podcasts, and this was one of those where we ended up having so many ideas that it took some effort to break it down just to 3 topics that we could explore together.
And when we first talked about this, my number one is what we're going to talk about first today.
So we thought this could possibly become a series. We don't know yet because of the number of ideas that we had. We chose 3 today, and we just know that we have specific points of view that are different.
Yeah.
And when it comes to mom and dad, we're set up biologically to be different.
Yes. And our babies need that.
And our babies need that. And the reason we're talking about in the Babies in Business podcast is because when it comes to being in business and raising a family together, everything becomes this examination of an exploration of the different points of view that inform how you're raising your kid.
Yeah.
Like, how you're raising your kid is going to impact everything. It's going to impact your relationship, and your relationship is the number one thing that is powering your business.
Yes.
That's why this topic is a hot one and it's important today, I think.
I agree. I think it's very important. Also because some couples take it from a different tack, and some of them simply outweigh the other and put their foot down and make the other person get in line. I've seen that in relationships. And I think that that's so sad, because I think that dad has something to offer kids that mom does not, and vice versa. And while I don't see it the same way as you do, I allow it to be just as much as, or just as important to you and to Lincoln and our other children, you know.
Yeah. So let's play, let's explore, let's get into 3 topics that we've got today. And I think share this with your partner, your spouse. Maybe play a game, ask them some of the same questions and just see what you get.
Or see if you have one that just comes right to the top of your mind. When you think mom versus dad, or mom's point of view versus dad's point of view,
Yeah.
there will probably be one that comes up very, very clearly for you.
And that one for us was what?
Danger.
What do you mean danger?
I mean, like how you let Lincoln do things that could result in injury. And you're like, oh, he's got this. That is what you say to me.
I mean, give me an example.
Okay. So he's on the coffee table.
Yeah.
And he's dancing.
He likes
And
to
this
dance on the
toddler
coffee
is
table.
not 2 yet. So his dancing is very faltery.
It's erratic.
He's like toppling sometimes. I have seen him topple. And you are far away from him. You are not on the couch. You are not anywhere near there. You are looking at him, observing him. And I'm like, Avram,
What are you doing?
go over there, please. You're like, he's got this.
Well, why do you feel so strongly about it?
Because I've seen him go on his head and hurt himself.
And then what happens when he hurts himself?
He cries and he comes to me.
That's true. That's true. He usually goes to you. But you know what happens when you're not here, right?
Probably something very different.
So the table, right? We're just crawling up on the table all the time. That's the new thing. I'm going to get on the chair and then I'm going to get on the table, right? And so the other day you were at a meeting or something, right? So he and I having lunch, and he's wanting, I'm guessing what it was is he was wanting to transition from one of the chairs to the other chair, I think is what happened.
Probably.
And like he misstepped or whatever. So he fell down in between the 2 chairs, right? Fell down, fell on the ground, and then was pretty upset about it. And then he was fine. Like, he was so good. There was one day also, we were outside, and he fell down doing something. It wasn't a big fall. It was less than the table, but he fell down. And so
Wait. Correct yourself. He did not fall from the table. He fell from the chair.
he fell from the chair.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it's like
Okay, got it.
like
So he's
2
outside.
feet,
What's the
right?
next story?
He's outside and he falls down
Oh, I've
for.
heard this before.
Well, you weren't home.
But I hope you've told me about it.
I think I told you about
Okay,
it.
let's hear it.
But he runs to go find you. Oh no, you know what it was? It wasn't outside. I'm sorry. It was inside. We were taking a shower. He came in to join me in the shower because
Okay.
he's so curious, right?
Yeah.
You weren't home. He comes in, and then he's transitioning out, and he slips.
Oh.
He slips out of the shower. You weren't home. He goes crying, "Mama, Mama," right? So I'm just like quickly finishing my shower, right? I go out to the living room, family room where he went to try to find you. He's playing with his toys. He just forgot. He forgot that he was in enough discomfort to cry about it. He just forgot. What do you think about that?
I think that there's no way that would happen with me.
So,
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him
Yeah.
getting hurt on your watch. It's not that I'm mad at you about any of those. It's that I feel differently about that.
Yeah.
In those situations, what would I have done differently? Well, I talk to Lincoln about edges all the time.
Yeah.
And he will say it. Edges, fall, edges. He knows that he can fall from edges, so he's aware of them.
yeah.
And I tried to prevent it. But I do think, as we're talking about this, don't get a big head about it. I do think that it is important that he does fall and that
Sure.
he does have the time and chance to have dangerous play
Yeah.
and do those things that show him the boundaries.
Yeah.
But I'm just not capable of letting that happen
Yeah.
on my watch.
Well, so I think what he gets is he gets that safety and that comfort in a certain way from you, right? I know that there is nurturing and comfort. I'm going to be okay,
Yeah.
right? And then I think what he gets from me in a little bit of just the watching and observing is the confidence in him, you know, to be brave and to try some different things out,
Yeah.
right? But the thing where I draw the line is mortal danger, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty on edge when we're doing things that are near the street,
Right.
right? I'm on edge when he's up on something sharp. Oh yeah. I'm on edge when usually when there's water present,
Yes.
slips,
Oh, yeah.
right? That's what the story you just talked about. It's a slip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's one where we're just always handle it different. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I push Rachel's buttons every now and then just by being a little bit more aloof than I appear to
can
actually
tell. I
be.
can tell when I'm present in the room, you're like,
Just play it up a little bit.
oh,
Get her
it
go.
drives me crazy.
The second thing that we see a little bit different is how we talk to and communicate with Lincoln.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first this time?
Yeah, you go first.
Well, I talked to him. It is not to say that you don't do this. Like 'cause we totally
yeah.
both do this, but my whole perspective on how I talk with him is I want to treat him not like an adult per se, but like that he's not a baby or something that is.
He's capable of understanding what you're saying.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. I mean, I know where we're a little bit different is, you know, I'm not super bent about teaching him a word like gooch.
Building a business while raising a family can be tough to juggle for any entrepreneur. Knowing where to focus and how to spend your limited time is critical to your success. That's why Babies in Business has produced and made available a fantastic audio resource for you. It's titled 5 Key Focus Areas to Build a Profitable Business Without Burnout. During this short training, Rachel and Avram peel back the curtain on their secrets to building a business that serves your family, your dreams, and beyond. To download your free copy of the 5 Key Focus Areas, go to babiesandbiz.com/download. Again, that's babiesandbiz, BIZ.com/download to get your free copy. We hope you enjoy. Now, back to the podcast.
Wow. Yep, that's correct. Well, my approach to communication is, or talking with him is that I think about the things that he already knows, these concepts that he knows and understands. And I try to help him see things from his vocabulary and his understanding.
Sure.
So about a week ago-ish, I think it was about a week ago, that we went outside and he was on his bike. And this was the first time that he had taken his balance bike.
Outside of the house, yeah.
Yeah, outside. And you had previously that day taken him to the mailbox and coming back very upset because he was not done riding his bike.
That's right.
So then we went out later and he started in our neighborhood on the road. And I was like, oh, I hope this does not continue because this cannot continue.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to create some really good habits. So I took him over and I said, here, let's go to the bicycle road. So I named the sidewalks a bicycle road. And he took to it.
He did.
And now what does he ask for? Bicycle road.
Yeah, it means I want to go outside and go ride my bike.
Yeah, and he knows where it is. He knows what it is. And then when he goes off towards the road where there's rocks in between the road and the sidewalks, I'll just say something like, uh-oh, rocks. And then he knows, oh, yeah, I probably don't want to play in the rocks, and he'll go back. So it's kind of like diversion or distracting him with something else and not really taking it with a full-on approach of you need to do this or you need to do that.
See?
Trying to help him see and make decisions.
Well, and I think that's actually where we kind of meet together.
Yeah.
Right? So he gets this approach from you that's a bit more fluid.
Yeah.
Right? And then he will get an approach from me that's a bit more,
this is what we're going to do.
this is what we're doing. Like, it's a bit more firm.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, down at the mailbox, trying to get him to come back, you would have taken this approach.
Right.
Which is usually where I start.
Right.
I start with some fluidity.
Yeah.
Right? And see, well, this is not going anywhere like this.
Sure.
And so, like, that day, I just picked him up. I said, hey, we're going back.
That's kind of how it has to. Yeah.
Hey, we're going back. You know, instead of, hey, do you want to come back with me? Like, we tried that.
Yeah.
We're going. So I picked him up. He was screaming. I grabbed the bike and I was like, sweet. I'm definitely that dad now. Right? I'm the dad that you see that's got the screaming kid that's like just walking home with all the stuff. This is the first time. Yay, milestone. You know, and I think that's the type of communication that he can get from dad, which is just like, no, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. And
what's great is he needs both.
He does.
I think he needs both.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're excited to talk about this whole thing, is because there's so much benefit in having and seeing both perspectives. That is why the conversation is so good and important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Third thing we wanted to talk about, I mean, unless you had more for that, was around play.
Yes.
And like mom's point of view about play with the baby and how she approaches it versus dad's.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because play just kind of happens with me and him. It's a lot of tickling. It's a lot of just asking him about where's your nose? Where's your elbow? Where's all these different things, and interacting with him in those kinds of ways. That's how play begins and kind of goes throughout the day. I tease him a lot. Like I'll misname a body part and then he'll correct me, or I'll misname a stuffed animal and he'll correct me. We'll read a book and just simple stuff, but it kind of comes in organically. So I don't really make the effort to like have that play. And for you, I love seeing the way that you play with him. I just think it's so special. And I love when he asks for you.
This is cute.
Something that we do, I tried to foster his love for you. So the way I do that is I'll say, we love Daddy, huh? He's so nice to us. And it's less about play, but I do think that it's so important because then sometimes he's not interested in touching you when he gets up from a nap.
Which is hilarious.
You know, different things, or he gets up from dad and he's like, no, you can't even look at him.
I can't even look at him sometimes. He just doesn't want it.
We'll be like, well, give him knuckles. Can you give him knuckles and stuff like that? But the one thing that I think is the cutest thing about play, like playing with you, but it's kind of a bridge over between you and me, is that when you've gone to the gym or you're out at meetings or something, he'll guess when you're going to come home, or I'll tell him when you're home and you're coming in the house. And then he wants to hide. He wants to hide so that you can see. He says, tickle daddy, hide, tickle daddy, because he knows that you're going to come in and tickle him. And I just think that's adorable.
Yeah. I was going to describe the way you described play with him the same way.
Okay.
Which is that it's actually all the time.
Yeah.
and it's kind of layered through everything.
Yeah.
And it's just this playful nature with everything that you do. So it's, putting on shoes and socks and turning it into a game.
Right. And not taking anything too seriously. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, toddlers could offend you if you'd let them. Or you take things personally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I love how you but you're very physical with him when you play.
Yeah, that's the big difference.
That's the one thing that I love about how you play with him. So I think it's very different for me.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the state that I'm in, that I'm going to have our baby in June, that I'm less interested in picking him up and throwing him and tossing him and putting him on the couch and things like that. But I love how you help. You also want a kid strong, and I see a form of play with him and connection. But you're very physical with him when you play with him.
Yeah, I would say that he and I's a little bit more structured in the sense of there is playtime and there's also like we're not playing right now. Yeah. But I think he it sounds weird saying it like that. It's because it's not like, no, I can't play right now, buddy. It's not like that at all. But it's like he and I seem to have these times that we just engage all the time. Yeah. Which is always in the evening.
Yeah.
Right.
He loves evening play with me.
Right. So like after dinner, before his bath and things, that's usually like some rough and tumble time. Right. It's the same thing with he and I in bath time at night, which lately it's been me putting him down a lot for bath time. And we engage bath time different. It's like if you listen to bath time with Lincoln and Rachel versus me and him, it's different.
Oh yeah.
It was way more
different.
The volume with you guys is way higher. Right? He and I, it's pretty mellow, right? And then we get in the bedroom and then toss him around. There's a lot of squealing.
Cute.
Right?
I do get to hear that. Sometimes I'll turn the monitor on just so that I can hear you playing or reading. Mm-hmm. It's really cute.
Mm-hmm. And lately, it's as he's become more physical and just how he moves and gets around, it's been fun for me to engage him in more physical ways. So, like, I don't know if it was
scared.
less scared, right? Some of the stuff that we do now would have terrified him before, like turning him upside down and stuff like that.
Which he loves now.
Which he loves. But like the other day, it's like I was helping him jump from the couch to the coffee table and then off the coffee table to the ground. Yes. Maybe not mom's favorite activity to be practicing, but it was supervised. And that's just not something that he and I were able to do 6 months ago.
Correct. Yeah.
And
it's cool because his interests have changed and they change so frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm. So these are just 3 of the things that we see differently that, come together in a unique way that I think most entrepreneur parents can relate to. You both have this yin and yang, hopefully, where there's this sort of flowing balance that occurs over time in how you raise your child. That's the purpose we had in exploring this today. And hopefully you had a chuckle, a good laugh here and there. Maybe you could see you and your spouse in some of this. We'd love to hear about it. We have an email. You can hit us up, hello@babiesandbiz.com. There's also a contact form on our website. You could fill that out. We get all those messages sent to our emails. We want to know what's something that you and your partner see differently that we could maybe discuss in the podcast too. Yeah, we'd love to hear it. So send those things our way. We are still looking for more 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Please get on there, put that 5-star rating, write something about what you got out of this podcast. And if you can think of another entrepreneur couple who sees very differently on some of these topics, I think you should send this to them. Right? Poke the bear a little bit. It could be fun to stir the pot. Yeah. Send it over to them, share it with that entrepreneur, and hopefully we'll get to catch you on a future episode. So with that, we appreciate you listening in.
Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Babies in Business podcast. Who do you know that would benefit from hearing this episode? Share it with them and post about it on social media. You can find the show notes for this episode, free downloads, and connect with the rest of the community at babiesandbiz.com. We'll see you next time.